I don't think it was nothing. Like, has it been brewing? There's been frustration with the offense. I think the choice of Matt Patricia as essentially play caller, offensive coordinator is probably going to go down as one of the most debated of Bill Belichick's tenures.
Took a big spotlight moment against a division rival for all that stuff to really kind of come to the surface.
So the New England Patriots took on the Buffalo Bills on Thursday Night Football, a matchup that historically the New England Patriots would dominate. Fortunately, it appears as though the Buffalo Bills now have the future Hall of Famer at quarterback. But not only did the Buffalo Bills beat the New England Patriots, on top of that, it seems like there's some issues going on with the New England Patriots, so much so that their former Hall of Fame quarterback appears to be linked to them. No, I'm dead serious. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. And make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you want to see who I pick in Prize Picks this week. If you haven't signed up for Prize Picks, the link to that's in the description down below. Now that we got all that out of the way, work! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The New England Patriots have had one tumultuous season this year. If it wasn't in the offseason where the New England Patriots were getting scrutinized for the fact that they brought back two failed head coaches in Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, and Bill Belichick made Matt Patricia the offensive coordinator despite Matt Patricia not having any offensive coordinator experience in his coaching career, if it wasn't the fact that Mac Jones, the highest draft pick that they've ever spent on a quarterback in the Bill Belichick era, wasn't getting quote-unquote outplayed by their late draft pick, rookie quarterback Bailey Zappi this year, now it seems like there's definitely some tensions going on between the New England Patriots. Now, I want to make sure that I preface this video just so I don't seem overly melodramatic. Football players get emotional, man. I mean, in the middle of games, in the heat of the moment, these are all competitors trying to compete. Obviously, there's going to be tension, but at the same time, you have to admit there's some stuff that's going on with the New England Patriots that's fairly peculiar. First things first, I don't really think the New England Patriots should give up on Mac Jones this quickly. I mean, he is essentially doing what he was promised to do. Mac Jones came out of Alabama as a player that wasn't supposed to be the next coming of Patrick Mahomes. He wasn't supposed to be the next coming of Peyton Manning. As a matter of fact, he got a lot of comparisons to Tom Brady because the main reason why Mac Jones got selected by the New England Patriots is one, Bill Belichick has a great relationship with Nick Saban. Nick Saban used to work underneath Bill Belichick during the time that Bill was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. So there's definitely that relationship with one another, although Bill Belichick was rumored to wanting to trade up to draft Justin Fields in the 2021 NFL draft. But two, Mac Jones was the perfect fit for Bill Belichick at this point. Bill just wanted someone that could process defenses really quickly and make the right throws, make the right reads, and that's about it. He didn't necessarily need someone that could take the top off the defense. And for all you know, as Mac Jones develops, he could become that player. And in his rookie season, he definitely showed some promise. I mean, he had a 67.6% completion percentage. He threw for over 3,800 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and he even made a Pro Bowl. I mean, there is definitely an upward trend for Mac Jones in his rookie season. He also had a quarterback rating of a 92.5. Now, this season, the narrative about Mac Jones is that he took a tremendous step back. And there are multiple factors that contribute to that. I mean, first things first, the NFL is a very difficult league. No one's going to dispute that notion. But when you're a rookie quarterback in the NFL and you're getting acclimated to things, and once you start getting things going, it might be a little challenging if you start to see people that you were dependent upon leave your team. My favorite example of this is Carson Palmer was really pissed at the Cincinnati Bengals when they decided to let John Kitna just walk away in free agency. Speaking of John Kitna, we do have a video on Jalen Kitna coming out on Sunday morning, so keep your eyes out for that because we're going to cover that. This season, things haven't gone as good for Mac Jones. I mean, he threw 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, over 1,900 passing yards, but he has a very similar interception percentage as he did last year, a 2.5% interception percentage, which is the percentage of times intercepted when attempting to pass a minimum of 14 attempts per scheduled game, which is the percentage of times intercepted when attempting to pass. And his quarterback rating isn't necessarily that much worse. worse. It's currently at an 87.0. Now, obviously this rating's different than total QBR, which is calculated by ESPN, but I'm seeing a lot of people calling Mac Jones a bust, saying that they're ready to move on from him. I don't think that's necessary. You have to bear in mind, Josh McDaniels, a guy that Mac Jones was really close with and developed a good relationship with, is now gone. And in his place is a guy that is literally the offensive coordinator for the first time in his career. What's interesting is, although we saw this clip of Mac Jones screaming, and there was a lot of people trying to figure out what Mac Jones was saying here. Some people think it was throw the ball, the run game sucks. And while Mac Jones did address these comments later on, another teammate of his wouldn't be so kind and wouldn't sugarcoat the situation. So here's what Mac Jones had to say about how he acted in the Buffalo Bills loss. So apparently what he said was, throw the ball, the quick game sucks. And then he said, obviously I just kind of let my emotions get to me. What I said was about throwing it deeper within the short game. I gotta execute that part better. It's the short game that we kept going to, which is working, but I felt like we needed chunk plays. I shouted that out to kind of get everyone going. That's emotional, that's football, and I'm passionate about this game. Obviously you don't want to let your emotions get the best of you. I think that's pretty much it. It wasn't directed at anybody, just emotion coming out, and we kind of needed a spark. Now, the speculation is Jones is frustrated with Matt Patricia. Now, at least transparently from Mac Jones, he isn't going to admit to that, because according to him, they're on the same page, saying it was just me saying, let's go for it, let's be aggressive, let's take those shots, just go down fighting. And Matt Patricia was on the same page. He calls Matt Patricia Matty P. Matty P was on the same page. We kind of did it there at the end and moved it a little bit more. Now, what's interesting is one of his wide receivers, Kendrick Bourne, wasn't necessarily as kind. I mean, while you had Mac Jones saying that, hey, I'm cool with Matty P, you had Kendrick Bourne saying this.
Yeah, I mean, we got to get the ball downfield, so I think Mac needs more time. He's obviously running around, so it's hard to get the ball downfield when you can't really have time for him to throw. No knock to the line, it's just what we need to work on.
Kendrick Bourne saying, yeah, man, we need to scheme up better. We need to know what they're doing. We need to know what they want to do on third down. They call this and we call that, and it falls right into what they want. Kendrick Bourne is straight up criticizing the play calling, which I don't know if he is taking a page out of his division rival's playbook, because if you remember, and we covered this earlier today in our Zach Wilson video, drop a like for double uploads, baby. We mentioned how Garrett Wilson essentially called out the New York Jets for being horrific on offense. I don't think this is as aggressive, but it kind of reminded me of that situation. Now, what's even more interesting is, and I wanted to make my own standalone video about this, is there's a rumor floating around that Tom Brady is considering returning to the New England Patriots. I think we're going to make our own video on this because there's so much to talk about, but this is coming to us from an article from Jeff Howie, who said, Brady to the Patriots, Rodgers to the Jets. Let's explore what could be another wild offseason at QB. Tom Brady section mentions how Brady will be a free agent for the second time in his career, and he must first decide if he wants to continue playing. I mean, bro, he just divorced Giselle. You think he's going to give up playing now that he's like free to play? If Brady wants to return for a 24th season as a 46-year-old, he shouldn't rule out the idea of joining a third team, because the Buccaneers have taken a major step back on offense this season without Bruce Arians at head coach or much of a ground game. So Brady should seek assurances from the decision makers of an improved schematic plan and upgrades on the offensive line. Otherwise, there's 4 natural locations for his next spot, starting with the 49ers. Then he could reunite with the Las Vegas Raiders and Josh McDaniels, or he could reunite with his ex-teammate Mike Vrabel and the Tennessee Titans. And finally, I'm going to go through all those other teams a little bit more in depth when we make our own standalone video on this, but probably my favorite one here is the New England Patriots. Brady and Bill Belichick still have an abundance of respect for one another. They've made points to say it publicly on multiple occasions since the QB departed for Tampa Bay. They also spent 23 minutes together in the visiting locker room at Gillette Stadium following Brady's return in 2021, an appointment they set up prior to the game. The Patriots are slated to have more than $50 million in cap space in 2023, so they can again address their flaws, this time on the heels of a couple of impressive draft classes. The issues aren't the egos or the pride. For Brady, he'd have to know the offense is in capable hands. There have been criticisms of Matt Patricia's first season as a play caller. Plenty warranted, others exaggerated, and Brady benefited by having an abundance of stability with the offensive coordinator in New England England, he'd either need to be comfortable with Patricia or push for a reunion with someone like Bill O'Brien, who's currently Alabama's offensive coordinator, to ensure he's not wasting a season as a 46-year-old. Sure, Brady would return to run his offense, but he also can't coordinate it. For the Patriots, they should want clarity on Brady's future. Is he going year to year? Do they need a fully guaranteed second season, which is something Belichick wouldn't do before Brady walked in 2020? And here's the thing that I like the most about this, because this is very valuable in my opinion. Realistically, the Patriots wouldn't even need to trade Mac Jones. His rookie contract runs through 2024, and then he has a 5th year option in 2025. They certainly could, and as is the case with many starting quarterbacks, they could start the trade conversations with the hopes of recouping a first-round pick. But what I think is more likely for it to happen is Tom Brady plays the mentor to Mac Jones. So I think it's a huge long shot that this happens. I think Tom Brady is going to return for his age 46 season. Bear in mind, I've speculated in the past. I haven't necessarily been correct on my speculation. If you remember, I was convinced Aaron Rodgers was going to go to the Denver Broncos, and I was wrong ultimately. But it does make for a very unique situation. I mean, I'm sure Mac Jones would be a little disappointed about having to be the backup quarterback, but having the opportunity to watch Tom Brady prepare after you had some years in Bill Belichick's offense, you do have a sample size to go off of. You have film that you could pick apart. You have experience in the NFL. It's not really a demotion either. It's more, hey, here's the greatest QB of all time returning to his team, and he's willing to teach you a thing or two. At the end of the day, I can't really ever envision the New England Patriots in a doomsday scenario. It's very hard for me to picture that because I have Bill Belichick as a head coach. Bill Belichick, even with pretty meh teams, is still able to get his teams to at least the wild card of the playoffs, which is so impressive. There are times where I look at Bill Belichick and think to myself, what the hell are you doing? Like this Matt Patricia situation. And I don't know how much I trust him overall with talent evaluation and drafting, but when it comes to coaching, man, we're talking about one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. And while the New England Patriots are in a very strange spot, there's definitely a lot of reasons to be optimistic for the future. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this, man. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.